Please rise. September 28th, 2022 meeting of Haliburton County Council is now in session. Warden Liz Danielson presiding.
Please be seated. We respectfully acknowledge that the County of Haliburton is located on Treaty 20 Mishi-Saugig territory and in the traditional territory of the Mishi-Saugig and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. We acknowledge a shared presence of Indigenous nations throughout the area and recognize its original Indigenous inhabitants as the stewards of its lands and waters since time immemorial. Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda for today, please? Councillor Schell and Moffat.
Moved by Councillor Schell, second by Councillor Moffat. Be it resolved that the September 28th, 2022 Haliburton County Council agenda be approved.
All in favor? That's carried. Is there any notice of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof this morning? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of the meeting of August the 24th? Councillors Roberts and Burton.
Moved by Councillor Roberts, seconded by Councillor Burton. Be it resolved that the minutes from the August 24th, 2022 meeting of Haliburton County Council be adopted as circulated.
All in favor? That's carried. No business arising from our previous meeting. So we'll move into delegations, and we have a delegation from the Library Board. With us this morning is Chris Stevenson, the Library CEO, and Sally Howson, the Library Board Chair.
Good morning, Warden Danielson and members of council.
Good morning, Chris.
Thank you very much for having me attend and update you on what's been happening within the county's library system. I am to be joined by Sally Howson, the Library Board Chair. However, I understand she may be having issues accessing her email. So I will begin. And if I could have my slide deck up on the screen, that would be great, please.
A wee bit of chaos.
Libraries were quiet places.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm here to tell you what's been happening since my anniversary 1 year and 6 days ago. It's been an exciting time at the library, and we're absolutely thrilled by the support we've received in all areas of the community. Next slide, please. So managers and librarians from Waterloo Library, the County of Huron, Aruplo, which is the administrators of rural and public libraries in Ontario. All of these folks have been checking in with us since the beginning of the launch of the Dorset Depot library lockers. So they've attracted a great deal of attention, and people are tracking our success because it's a model that may work well in small and medium communities everywhere. In fact, Oakville Public Library has launched some modern lockers to help people outside the library when they're closed. The project has been an opportunity for us to raise our status in the library world across Ontario, and we hope to present what we've learned at the Ontario Library Association's Super Conference this spring. Currently, we have 15 families and regular users, and room to grow also for senior sort of seasonal visitors. This year, we launched a new position and another half position. This is the part-time marketing role. And as well, we have a new public services librarian. There's been new additions such as a Canopy funded locally. This is a video streaming service, which also gives us access to additional documentaries and feature films beyond our DVD collection. There are now 4,000 magazines as well, available digitally, which have been very popular. This is the first time we've ever launched digital magazines. So we're starting to put our eggs into two baskets as we go, and recognize the need for serving patrons with all different needs. Our partnerships are super strong, and we're creating new programs and developing talks on a wide range of topics and to support demographics across Haliburton County. And this is from early on to the Green Burial Society to climate change initiatives, and also support for genealogy research, which is a hot topic lately. To support all of this, we are really pleased to have a marketing coordinator part-time to create posters and new content for our new website, and as well liaise with my support through the local media, which has been really important for driving new interest. Especially around Summer Reading Club, which was just getting going after the pandemic started to wind down a little bit. We've had over 160 kids participate in summer reading programs, and the highlight of the summer was the Haliburton and District Lions Club Stories in the Park Fun Fair, which attracted a stunning 500 families and their kids. May I have the next slide, please? As well, we are mindful of both technology and accessibility, and we've been looking for ways in which we can improve services in our branches. So, for example, you can see the second picture there, there's a microphone system that we've put into 3 branches that still have the glass partitions. And this was rolled out at Minden Hills, Dysart branches, and also Wilberforce most recently. Also at Wilberforce, there's a new kiosk so that when the computer's busy there and you're still wanting to search for some item in our collection, you can now use the kiosk, a second portal to our Biblio Commons. We're also introducing a phone tree system. So this is going to help direct incoming calls. The volume of calls has gone up, certainly, since our population has increased. And this will be a way to triage, incoming queries and sort them into, low-key questions and ones that require a bit more support. We've also hired 2 new couriers this year, which has been a game changer. It allows us for these part-time positions to have one person always at the ready, so that we don't have to borrow from our branch staff to keep the books flowing, and then they can spell each other off at holiday times as well, and so that the same person isn't always working each weekend. And if I could switch to the next slide. I should mention on the last slide there, the green one, there was a picture of the proposed new library van that we have just put in a deposit for. And so we're just waiting to hear when we might expect this to arrive. Thank you very much. Okay. There's been a number of behind the scenes changes that we worked on last winter that they've all now rolled out in spring and summer. Most exciting was the rebrand and the refresh of the library, which we did through a great deal of community consultation, board work, and the help of a great company to support us, both with the design of our library logo, but then also incorporating those same colors that you're seeing here and the shapes to freshen up our brand new website. So the new website is thought of by many here to be one of our branches. It's a virtual branch because through the website, it's a portal to accessing so much with your library card, including a brand new a calendar, which is a great way to see what's going on in each of the branches, and it can be filtered depending on what your needs are. We integrated what's called Biblio Commons, and this is a gold standard in search and catalog support. So now the experience is also quite seamless. If you see a book that you want in our what they call book river, as the books are going by, similar to the style you recognize in, say, Netflix, where you see the content, you click on it for more information. All of that now through more or less 2 or 3 clicks, you can actually order the book, and it'll be on its way to you wherever it is in the system. And then one of our greatest resources, of course, is our staff. And we've had a great deal of change through 2020 and into the current year. And we have more change yet to come. We have now our admin support coordinator position is being advertised as we speak. Over 135 years of collective experience have moved on for various reasons through retirements and resignations as people made new life plans. So it has been a period of ups and downs, but we've been able to provide consistent and great library service through this period. So thanks to the staff for that. And in the next slide, please, I'd like to introduce Sally, who's joined us, and she'll be giving an update from the library board. Hi, Sally.
Sorry for the delay. Technology is only as good as when it works, and the internet is a bit odd here where I am. So thank you very much for taking the time. As Chris has said, there's been a lot of very positive changes in the library system, and on behalf of the board, I would like to thank the County Council for their continued support of the library. It is, as you can see, a vital hub for the community, and there's lots of great changes that have happened within the community in the last 2 years. And on behalf of the outgoing board, I again would like to thank all of you who have participated in the library activities and services, particularly the county staff. Well, they have been hugely helpful as we've gone through a lot of changes, and the staff at the county have been very supportive of our needs. And I know they've been super busy, and again, we thank them for all their support. It's been a terrific collaboration between the county staff and the library, so thank you very much. As you know, County Council will be appointing a new board in December, and Chris and I have been working on Canoe Radio and other places to get the word out for people to apply, because as you know, there are 4 public positions on the library board, so we're getting the word out. So hopefully there'll be lots of applications and for the new board. And again, thank you very much for your time and all your help.
Thank you very much, Sally.
All right, if we could have the last slide, please. All right, so in a separate document, I did send a copy of the annual report 2022. This is a mid-year snapshot of where we are, what we're currently focused on. It includes some statistics and facts about the library, so that at a glance, anyone that's in the community or coming into the community can see what we're about. The current report incorporates our new colors and the logo and the shapes. And we hope that people can learn more about the scope and scale of Haliburton County Public Library. We start with the word modernization because this is what we're doing. We're digging into all areas of the library system. We're responding to feedback to make improvements that benefit patrons and our visitors. And then addressing accessibility in library facilities and online is one example of the changes that we're working on. And as well, supporting internet improvements and increasing support for online streaming services is one more example. We do get a lot of feedback from folks that when they come, the Wi-Fi is one of the most important things that we offer when they're new to town. But then once they're here, we're able to make new friends and support them by letting them know what's happened since they were last in. And that's, like I've been saying, changed quite a bit. At this point, Sally and I would like to open up the floor to any questions you may have, and certainly any comments.
Do members of council have any questions? Councillor Roberts.
Yeah, just a comment, really not a question. As Vice Chair, I've worked with Sally fairly closely, but Sally, I just want to thank you for being such a fabulous board chair and probably the biggest time of transition our library has seen in a long, long time. So you've done an excellent job as leadership for the library board. So I just really wanted to recognize Sally Howson for her work. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's precisely what I was going to say. That's good. So doubly, you know, there have really been some positive changes in the library system. You know, during your term as chair, Sally, and particularly since Chris has joined us, you know, things have have changed even more, and it's all positive, and we look forward to more positive changes as we go forward. Thank you very much for your report. Could I
you very
have a
much.
mover and a seconder to receive the report? Councillors Moffat and Roberts.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Roberts. Be it resolved that Haliburton County Council receives for information the presentation from Chris Stevenson and Sally Howson on behalf of the Haliburton County Public Library Board.
All in favor? That's carried. And we'll see you later on this afternoon
You will.
for some
Thank you.
strategic planning.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda are the is approval of the reports and recommendations from the Committee of the Whole meeting. Was there any report associated with that, or we're just
Typically, unless there are questions, it's just
any questions? Could I have a mover and a seconder then to for approval? Councillors Kennedy and Rael.
moved by Councillor Kennedy, seconded by Councillor Ryle. Be it resolved that the recommendations from the September 14th, 2022 meeting of the Haliburton County Committee of the Whole be adopted by Haliburton County Council.
All in favor? That's carried. So we don't have anything from joint accessibility. Next on the agenda then is the Planning and Environment Report. And as Mr. Stone is on holidays, the report will be given by Adam Kozlowski. And there's Mr. Stone. Adam, you're looking different today.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Adam actually will be presenting the Land Division Committee update. I have the pleasure of reporting to council from the Big Apple today. So thank you, Madam Wharton, to the rest of council. Two things I'd like to highlight. As you know, we've been, council's been trying to improve its floodplain mapping along the Gull River and Burnt River systems. And that project's been ongoing for the last 3 years. And we've been fortunate to have the federal government to sponsor some of the data collection, bathymetry most recently, and previously the LIDAR data acquisition. And we were pleased to hear that the province is now hosting another funding program. And this is actually to allow us to fund next year's modeling and survey work, as well as public open houses in 2024, the early part of 2024. So we submitted an application last week, and we're sitting on pins and needles, hoping that we will get that approved. If that's the case, then it will allow us, I guess the province would give us almost $250,000 towards that completion of the project. So that's exciting. The other thing I'd like to just highlight is upon the approval of the shoreline preservation bylaw, I've been tasked with making presentations to the local township councils, and I've accomplished that 3 out of 4 to date. And I have Minden Hills on Thursday. So thank you very much. Happy to answer questions.
Any questions for Mr. Stone? Councillor Roberts?
It actually regarding the section just to do with the climate change office and the community climate change advisory group that Corey led. So that's wrapped up, and the final recommendations are there. And I just want to thank Corey for her work. I know I put my hand up a little reluctantly to be the county rep on that, but it was actually an excellent committee if you attended, but Corey did a great job. So I hope a future council sort of continue to have that advisory committee going on a go forward basis. The knowledge from some of the members of that committee was very valuable, I believe, for the county. So I hope that continues. So I just want to thank Corey.
Thank you. And that is Corey's hope, is that in the new year, that committee will continue on in some form with the approval of the county council.
Any further questions? Could I have a mover and a seconder then to receive the planning report? Councillors Burton and Shell. Thank you.
Moved by Councillor Burton, seconded by Councillor Shell. Be it resolved that Halliburton County Council received the September 28th, 2022 staff report entitled Planning Department Update for Information.
All in favor? That's carried. Thanks, Steve, and continue to enjoy the Big Apple.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda are the administration reports and the correspondence summary listing. Any questions or comments about the correspondence? Could I have a mover and a seconder then to receive the correspondence report? Councillors Kennedy and Ryle.
Moved by Councillor Kennedy, seconded by Councillor Ryle. Be it resolved that the correspondence listing for the period of August 19th, 2022 to September 19th, 2022 be received for information by Halliburton County Council.
All in favor? That's carried. There is no rail trail status report. So the next item on the agenda is the petition from the Friends of Grass Lake Working Group. Is there, I'm not sure really what the process for petitions is at this point. Is there any enlightenment you can offer us?
No, I think most of the summary information is in the staff report that accompanied the petition. We don't add the petition onto the agenda to protect the privacy of all the individuals who signed it, but it is available for viewing. All that the recommendation is to receive the petition.
Are there any comments or questions about this item? Could I have a mover and a seconder then to receive the petition as information? Councillor Moffat, Councillor Ryle.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Ryle. Be it resolved that Halliburton County Council received the September 28th, 2022 staff report presenting a petition prepared by the Friends of Grass Lake Working Group, FOGL, regarding the adoption of green infrastructure plans.
All in favor? That's carried. Was there a question? Comment?
Yeah, sorry, just a comment. I should have put my hand up earlier. People often wonder when something like this is submitted, if anybody's watching, and they might turn to their friend and say, and they didn't even say anything about it, because I think it's just important to recognize that it's a process that's currently underway. So we can't really do anything or say anything about this because it's an active file. I just think it's important to just at least say that much so that people who may be watching or listening or will look later know that we're not saying nothing because there's nothing to say. Well, I guess there is actually nothing to say. It's an active file. So all we can do is receive it, lest we interfere with the usual process. That's all. I just think it's important to say that for the public.
Thank you. Next are the reports and minutes from external boards and agencies. We have a set of minutes from the Pine Ridge Health Unit. Councillor Roberts, anything that you wish to bring to our attention?
Not necessarily from those minutes, but we usually, we have a meeting. I had a meeting on September 15th, and just obviously COVID is still very much with us. So the Chief Medical Officer of Health did a report, particularly concerning the COVID. They're doing some planning for 3 different scenarios. One is that there's just, another wave this fall, and that's manageable. Another sort of second scenario is that you add influenza, because the last 2 years influenza has practically been non-existent. We were, masking and staying apart and all the different regulations. Those regulations are all gone now. So to throw in influenza, so we'll call that dual. And the third is that a new variant of concern would arise. So that's sort of like worst case scenario. And the message to the public is simply, stay home if you're sick, continue to wear a mask if you in congregate settings, and stay away from vulnerable populations if you have symptoms, and get your vaccine. And you can check online through your, all the regular channels about whether you're eligible and for what vaccine and when. So that's it.
Thank you for that. Is there any update for a point in time?
I don't know if it's so much as an update, just we had a meeting last night actually, and the numbers and the need continues to grow for the services from Point in Time, which fairly obvious reasons. And they seem to still be keeping up with everything. And the youth hub is actually picking up some pace too and being a little busier. And I think because of COVID restrictions lifting, and they continue to work with the high school and trying to streamline things a little more quickly.
Thank you, Councillor Shell. Councillor Roberts.
Yes, my question is through you, Madam Warden, is regarding the transportation system that they are doing. I just wondered if there's any update on that because we supported that.
Yeah, we had our meeting last night actually and approved an upside limit for the vehicle purchase, and it's moving forward. So that was just approved last night. I should have said that. Thank you.
Good news. Thank you. Next is the a report on the Wharton's Caucus, and actually the Wharton's Caucus is not meeting until next week, and unfortunately I cannot attend, which I'm really quite disappointed about because it's the last meeting of the year, and we have a number of wardens who are and CIOs who are leaving, and so something that I will quite miss. But I will be able to provide an update on anything that's ongoing after their meeting. I gather we will have no report on joint social and housing services, given that Councillor DeVolen is not here. I don't think there's any update on professional recruitment, or it might be.
There's not really an update, but I just want to note that I'm sure people have noticed driving around that the billboards are up, and they're quite eye-catching, and look forward to. I don't know if we'll hear any results from them, but just that they're there, and they look good.
Great.
So they seem to be everywhere. So I'm glad that they're up and out.
Mr. CAO.
I will apologize or start by apologizing because I should have told you this, but we did actually have a physician reach out to us because of the billboards.
Oh,
and so Wendy, they have worked in at least one case. So I apologize for not letting you know that.
well, that's good news. We also have a set of minutes from the library board. Councillor Roberts, anything that you wanted to let us know about there?
No, I don't think so from the minutes, other than your reference to we have a final strategic planning session today. So hopefully, that all our brains are firing on all cylinders. You're supposed to be creative and come up with words. And I'm like, oh no, I got a few other things on my mind. So I'm hoping I can participate well today. And also we did look at a first draft of our budget, but we determined that we still had a few questions. So that'll come back to our October library board meeting for a final budget to be passed forward to the county.
Thank you. So could I have a mover and a seconder to receive the sets of minutes and reports? Councillors Moffat and Shell.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Shell. Be resolved that Haliburton County Council receives for information the following: the June 16th, 2022 approved minutes from the Haliburton Kawartha Pine Ridge District Health Unit Board of Health meeting, and the August 10th, 2022 minutes from the Haliburton County Public Library Board.
All in favor? That's carried. Next is the Land Division Activity Report. And we have Adam Kozlowski, who's going to be providing that report. Now watch, Mr. Stone will show
up. Good morning, Warden, members of council. It's Adam Kozlowski, and I guess I'm using Steve's picture this morning.
Good morning, Adam.
Morning. Just by way of update, Land Division Committee met on September 12th, and we had 4 applications, all of which were approved. There were 2 lot additions, or sorry, 1 lot addition and an easement for mainland parking, and then we had a new rural residential lot and a new shoreline lot. I'm also very happy to say that we have our new staff member that started last week, Alana Lacey, and she is the planning technologist and will over time be assuming the roles of Secretary Treasurer of the Land Division Committee. The coming meeting on October 17th, we have 7 applications, which is a mix of lot additions, rights of way, and a number of new shoreline lots as well. So it will be a busy agenda and very interesting applications. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Just a note, there has been some problem opening that particular report, but I think you've given us a update on what's going on. Did you want to comment?
Just that we've been doing some upgrades to iCompass, and we had this, you'll recall, we had this with the pre-published agenda last for Committee of the Whole, and we didn't catch these, but there is a change that has to happen in the background, but we'll get on that.
Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to receive the land division report? Councillors Kennedy and Moffat.
Moved by Councillor Kennedy, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Be it resolved that Haliburton County Council received the September 28, 2022 report entitled Land Division Activity Report for information.
All in favor? That's carried. Under other external boards and agencies, Good Roads, anything that you would like to let us know about, Councillor Burton?
No report, but the board's actually meeting today and tomorrow, and I have decided to not go down to it. So I will have a report next meeting.
Thank you. Councillor DeVolen, again, is not here to give us an EORN update. Is there anything that you think we need to know?
I guess the only thing I would say is that EORN staff are really working diligently with Rogers to improve the level of communication, both in terms of how they report to the community of the progress that's being made, and also around the tower siting process. I think the Haliburton example is used often as a way to, as a story of why things need to improve. So I know EORN staff are really working diligently with them to make sure that that communication improves.
Thank you for that. Question, Councillor Roberts.
Yeah, and on that note, that was on Dysert's agenda yesterday, was a review of our policy regarding communication towers. And the decision was to, or recommendation to staff was to reach out to EORN to, we've reviewed Highlands East and Algonquin Highlands policies, but we're also going to be reaching out to EORN because, we want to have, our policy was written in 2014, and I think it was a stumbling block for some of Dysart councillors. And so we're just trying to have a policy that still has some municipal input and some notification and who should be notified, et cetera. But so we're going to be reaching out to EORN to help guide us with an update of the policy.
Thank you. So we won't have anything on poverty reduction. Moving on, the next item on the agenda is a request for a letter of support about the changes that are being proposed by the province to the Highlands East Electoral District. Did you want to speak to that, Councillor Burton?
Sure. I just want to thank the municipalities for certainly support us. It's very important to Highlands East that we all stay together. And we did. Deputy and the CAO did meet with Jamie Smale, and he was wanting very much for us to stay in the riding, and so this is our plan of attack, and I believe it's going to work. I've been through this before with them probably 10 years ago now, and there was no changes back then, and I'm hoping that it'll stay the way it is.
As do we all, I'm sure. Could I then have a mover and a seconder to support sending a letter off with respect to this, supporting Highlands East position? Councillor Roberts and Councillor Shell.
Moved by Councillor Roberts, seconded by Councillor Shell. Be it resolved that Haliburton County Council receives for information the September 14th, 2022 correspondence from the municipality of Highlands East, re the federal electoral districts redistribution 2022 pertaining to the municipality of Highlands East, and that the warden forward a letter to the Federal Electoral Boundaries Commission on behalf of Haliburton County Council indicating council support for the municipality of Highlands East to remain within the electoral district of the county of Haliburton.
All in favor? That's carried. So we'll now be moving into closed session. So could I have a mover and a seconder to go into closed? Councillor Ryle, Councillor Kennedy.
Moved by Councillor Ryle, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Be it resolved that Haliburton County Council enter into closed session for the following reasons: the security of the property of the municipality.
All in favor? That's carried.
think we're back live.
Okay, welcome back to the open session. The next item on the agenda is under bylaws, bylaw to appoint a replacement integrity commissioner. Are there any questions about that? Are there any limitations that are in place with respect to the integrity commissioner between now and December, or is it business as usual?
No, it's not business as usual. They are really very restricted in their, they can't begin an investigation. They can't deliver a report. They can't do anything like that. They are available to provide advice to members of council. But that is really the limit of their powers at this point between now and when the new council takes office.
Any issues with respect to the election? People could inquire about that or no?
Long time. I don't know that the integrity commissioner would have a lot of powers around the election. I think there are, there's a Municipal Elections Act that governs a lot of that. So I'm not sure that they would have a lot of jurisdiction there anyway. But they would, they'll be available to take those calls and then they would answer appropriately. I'm confident.
Could I have a mover and a seconder to approve this bylaw? Councillor Kennedy and Moffat.
Moved by Councillor Kennedy, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Be it resolved that bylaw 4125 being a bylaw to appoint an integrity commissioner and to authorize the warden and clerk to sign an agreement for integrity commissioner services for the county of Haliburton be considered to be read a first, second, third time, finally passed, and the seal of the corporation be affixed.
All in favor? That's carried. Next is a bylaw to authorize the execution of a license of occupation with Haliburton Lumber and Enterprises. Any questions or comments? Do I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Roberts, Councillor Kennedy.
Moved by Councillor Roberts, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Be it resolved that bylaw 4126 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a license of occupation agreement with Haliburton Lumber and Enterprise be considered to be read a first, second, third time, finally passed, and the seal of the corporation be affixed.
All in favor? That's carried. And finally, a bylaw to authorize the sale of land to Daniel and Marcia Duncan. I have a mover and a seconder. Councillor Moffat, Councillor Kennedy, thank you.
Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Be it resolved that bylaw 4127 being a bylaw to authorize the sale of land by the county of Haliburton to Daniel and Marcia Duncan be considered to be read a first, second, third time, finally passed, and the seal of the corporation be affixed.
All in favor? It's carried. Is there any notice of motions? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to pass the confirmation bylaw? Councillor Ryle, Councillor Burton.
Moved by Councillor Ryle, seconded by Councillor Burton. Be it resolved that bylaw 4128 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the September 28, 2022 meeting of Haliburton County Council be considered to be read a first, second, third time, finally passed, and the seal of the corporation be affixed.
All in favor? It's carried. And finally, could I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn? Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Ryle.
Moved by Councillor Kennedy, seconded by Councillor Ryle. Be it resolved that the September 28, 2022 meeting of Haliburton County Council be adjourned.
All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.